In the year that was 2018, why were so many of us so enamored with Paddington 2? Obviously, it's funny and exciting and moving and just great on every level. Hugh Grant gives the performance of his career, but it's also a movie that is, above all, about being kind and polite.
Aunt Lucy said if we're kind and polite, the world will be right.
It's overwhelmingly good-natured, empathetic, and optimistic. And in 2018, a lot of us, whether we realized it or not, really needed that. Because these days, as Billy Corgan once said, the world is a vampire. My daily routine, or the closest thing I have to one, involves waking up and looking at Twitter. It's where I catch up on the news, which is usually bad, and find out everyone's take on how bad everything is. As funny as some of the memes are, the vibe is overwhelmingly negative. I know quitting Twitter would probably improve my mood and mental health, but I'm also kind of addicted to it and I need it for work and, to engage with the audience, so that's not gonna change. But my way of getting through it, of coping with the endless barrage of anger and despair, was partly talking about Paddington a lot, but mostly it was to bury myself in work. So in 2018, I worked really, really hard, took very little time off, and it mostly went pretty well. Okay, we're being positive here. We're looking for the good stuff in 2018. So here are the things that I'm proud of or excited about from the past year. I changed my whole approach to video essays into something that I find way more fulfilling. I finally reached a stable living making stuff independently. I launched 2 podcasts. I had my first intern. Hey Elsie. I had my first truly great experience working with a composer. Hey Brian, my followers successfully campaigned to get Paramount to let me see Mission Impossible early. I started a second channel. I watch and podcast about the entire filmography of Josh Hartnett, which is some kind of accomplishment, I guess. I taught thousands of people that Michael Bay has 2 movies in the Criterion Collection. I won a VidCon Creator Grant, which just happened recently, if you haven't seen yet. And most importantly, I didn't get shingles. See, 3 years ago, I was at a personal low point. All the career opportunities that had come along thanks to the Wes Anderson X-Men video had fallen apart. I was broke, and I was getting charged overdraft fees on my bank account, and I became so anxious and stressed out that it triggered a case of shingles. If you're not familiar with shingles, let me explain. Basically, after you get chickenpox as a kid, it sits in your system for the rest of your life and usually doesn't return until you're over 60 years old, unless it is activated by a case of extreme stress. And then it comes back as shingles, and a small patch on your body that is extremely painful. So this is what happened to me in 2015, and it sucked. So why am I telling you this, and why did I put that gross picture in a video for everyone to see? It's because anytime I'm frustrated or disappointed that I'm not where I would ideally like to be in terms of life or career, I remind myself that I'm doing a hell of a lot better than I was a few years ago. At least I don't have shingles. But look, you all came here for my thoughts on media, not my thoughts on myself, so let's get to the good stuff. As usual, my other way of distracting myself from the horrors of the world was by consuming a ton of media. I'm talking movies, TV shows, comic books, YouTube videos, not as much new music as I would like, and not nearly enough regular books, so here's an unstructured, unranked list of my 50 favorite things from 2018. And I'm leaving out anything made by friends of mine because that just makes things complicated. Paddington 2. Filmmaking is a Sport by Casey Neistat. My Trip with My Sister to Ireland and England. You're Not Alone by Andrew W.K. Annihilation. Unsane. The Ending of the Americans. Barry. Atlanta. Killing Eve. Seeing my boy Corvus Glaive making his big screen debut. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The Good Place. Hereditary. First Reformed. Joe Pera reads you the church announcements. The Superman comics by Brian Bendis. Defunctland. Glow. The Immortal Hulk. The Stained Glass 2 episode of Are You Talkin' REM Re-Me. The Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk episode of Blank Check with Griffin and David. Succession. Leave No Trace, 8th Grade, Mr. Miracle, Mission Impossible Fallout, good romantic comedies, Minding the Gap, Better Call Saul, Seeing 2001: A Space Odyssey and The Dark Knight on 70mm, Nancy, Private Life, American Vandal, My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies, Tom Hardy's performance in Venom, A Star is Born, Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4, Honey by Robin, Suspiria, Bodied, Runaways, Widows, My Two Podcasts, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Guide to Tom Hanks by Neil Cicierega, Roma, The Favorite, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, If Beale Street Could Talk, My Man Aquaman. I went on Twitter, that thing I can't stay away from, and asked you what stuff I made in 2018 you all enjoyed the most, and what you'd like to see more of in 2019. The general consensus was more of everything. I'm not like most YouTubers in that I don't like using the same video formula over and over. That's also probably why I'm not more successful. If you go back and look through the channel, each year's crop of videos looks pretty different from the previous one. And I want to continue that this year. Last year, I finally figured out what I want the current version of this channel to be. I found a way to do video essays that I really enjoyed, turning each one into its own unique filmmaking project. I didn't make as many videos as in 2017, but I made better ones, and I really liked the work I did. So in 2019, I'm not planning on radically changing the way I make videos and heading off in a totally different direction, but I want to make sure the videos evolve and grow. I don't want to repeat myself. But don't worry, there will be more Patrick Explains videos, and my parents will be back. I'm not optimistic about the world in 2019. We're just 2 weeks in, and the government is still shut down for the dumbest possible reason, as trash literally piles up in our nation's capital. So, not off to a great start. And I have no control over that, so I'm not going to dwell on it. I do have a bit more control over how things will go for me, and I'm a lot more optimistic about that. So, here are my personal goals for 2019. Make the best shit ever. Win. Get paid. Get my collaborators paid. Take over the world. Buy myself more celebratory cakes. Live to see the next 2 Mission Impossible movies. Do whatever it takes to get on the set of those Mission Impossible movies. Sorry, the Mission Impossible news was just announced while I was shooting this part, so it kind of derailed the whole thing because my brain is broken now. But let's get serious. In 2018, I watched all 84 episodes of the TV show Felicity in an attempt to figure out what J.J. Abrams will do with Star Wars Episode 9, and this year I'm going all in on my theory that that show holds the answers to how the trilogy will end. Felicity herself, Kerry Russell, has already been cast in the movie, so I'm calling it now. The movie will have Rey and Kylo Ren, the analogs for Felicity and Ben, getting together and dating, and moving back to Jakku. And there will be time travel. Do I actually want that to happen? No. What are the odds of it happening? Terrible. But I'm predicting it now because in the unlikely chance that it actually happens, I'm going to look like a genius. So check back in 11 months, and we'll see what happens. Last year, the channel reached a really nice level of stability, where I feel like I have the freedom to do videos about a really wide range of topics, and that is largely due to the support of our regular sponsors. So if you enjoy these videos, sit down for a minute while I tell you about Skillshare. So look, Skillshare is clearly cool because they keep supporting this channel, but also because it's a site I actually use that has helped me improve my production skills. So, if you are interested in filmmaking, or writing, or producing YouTube videos, here's what you should do. Scroll down a bit, and click the link in the description. The first 500 visitors get 2 months of Skillshare for free, so you can watch as many classes as you want and level up all those skills. Come on, do it now. It's a new year. Get to work. Skillshare.